Thanks, everyone. I do feel like I have drawn the short straw going first because I'm putting it out there right now. I am actually no expert in e-learning, nor did my fellowship have anything to do with virtual learning, e-learning or the like, whatever we decide to call it. And I'm going to be learning myself today from these other ladies and leaders. However, what I do know about is about teaching practice. And as Louisa and Wendy's brief to us, as you heard them already say, it included a little bit of provocation. And so there may be some room for you to consider debating some of the statements that I might actually make today. And I'm happy to take that on board because I'm not quite sure I'm convinced yet in this space. So there you go. There's provocation number one. I'm now going to read directly from my script so I don't get into too much trouble and I stick to time. And hopefully I can do it without my glasses because I've done big font size. Okay, so for many, here goes. For many, mass education has become a commodity which people seek for personal, social, economic purpose. And what role does BOLD play? And BOLD, when I refer to the word BOLD as an acronym, I'm referring to blended online and digital. And it's, I think, a term that's been coined within our organisation by the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Learning and Quality, Marcia Devlin. So what role does BOLD play in vocational education? What are the impacts and what does this mean for quality teaching, learning and assessment practice? I'm not sure yet. On the 12th of April in Victoria, HESG, so HESG, acronyms I know, our funding body, sent through contract notification outlining the information to identify minimum content for online services standards. And some of the courses have been restricted for online delivery. In the main, these courses, and there are around 40 of them that are deemed high risk, what I'd call high risk. So dogging, scaffolding, arboriculture, you can think of some of those courses yourself that might be deemed high risk. Demolition, for example. So they're not going to be funded fully online. That doesn't mean to say you can't deliver them. HESG just won't fund them. As for the development of online standards that are to be published in a very prominent space on an RTO's website, how will these ensure quality learning and teaching in a way, and what does quality look like anyway? There is a big difference between quality and compliance, and it's only just being understood now, I think. So quality, for me, equals learning outcomes. And in terms of online virtual teaching, I think Andrew Douch, and many of you will know, in fact, I think Trina presented with him last Friday, is a great example of someone I know anyway, who is thoroughly engaging, and learning outcomes and engagement is really evident. But if we try and manage this against evidence of participation, that dreaded EOP, we have some challenges. Rules of evidence, validity, reliability, flexibility is an easy one, but if we try and navigate those things and the auditing pathway, where an auditor actually refuses to look online, it is near impossible. Compliance, as opposed to quality, is a mechanism that has been put in place to measure quality, but quality of what? It holds one to account, but no measurement of quality teaching. In fact, we don't have a documented set of guidelines on what quality teaching looks like. But maybe here's your first question. Does compliance squash creativity and innovation, especially in relation to virtual learning? So there's your question. Make sure you write it down. According to Enterprise Skills and Careers Education in Schools, why Australia needs a national strategy, which was published by the Foundation of Young Australians in 2016, 90% of future jobs will involve digital literacy. 35%, I don't know if my facts are right here, but this is published, so it must be true. 35% of 15-year-olds are not digitally literate. Some would say that the impediment to technology adoption is one VET is almost over the hurdle on. And I read that, and I'm really going to question that because I'm not sure about it. The internet provides ready access to an extraordinary range of information, skills, development, peer learning opportunities and more. Many students make sound use of that access but receive no recognition of it. The use of technology must be fit for purpose, and we can't escape the fact that VET is underpinned by skills and knowledge, not so much knowledge and skills. This is why a blended approach can work so well in the VET space. The virtual option does not provide a mechanism for a shortcut to learning, and so here lies our quality challenge, because I think, I'm putting it out there, making a grand claim, that I think in the past e-learning, virtual learning, online learning, whatever we're referring it to, has been used as a shortcut to increase delivery, get reach, geographical reach, etc., and to save time for teachers. I don't think that's quite working for us. Question 2, how can we measure engagement, student retention, completion and success in the virtual environment so that we can leverage off that as innovation? So in the recent Skills First Quality Workshop Outcomes Report, which many RTOs will have just received, it referred to the 4 main factors that are on the slide behind me. For me, the professional teacher aspect is what we can focus on, and that was really the fundamental underlying principle of my fellowship. So we can focus on that to leverage, as they must adopt the innovation before the consumer or the learner can. Like all good planning, the more stakeholders, managers and teachers that put in place and adopt the innovation before the end user, the more likely the market learner success will be. Failure to account for this adoption, preparation and strategic planning will really doom the effort. Teacher capability, in my view, has not mirrored the speed of technology itself. And I'm not sure I've got time to tell you a lovely story that I recently experienced myself firsthand. Is a great piece of innovation and practical technology, and it is the run flat tyre. I don't know if you know about the run flat tyre, but it's a great tyre when it doesn't go flat. When Michelin's run flat tyre was introduced in 1997, no consumer could buy it. Why? The innovation uses a dashboard light to alert drivers to the need for service after a specified amount of distances driven following a flat tyre. Thus, the tyres can be used only in vehicles designed to accommodate them. Michelin had to wait until a willing car manufacturer's design windows opened, often 3 to 4 years before volume production. Additional intermediaries included dealers that needed to understand and support the system, and automobile repair shops that had to invest in new service equipment. 9 years after its introduction, the run flat tyre is standard equipment only on a handful of car models. And unfortunately, I happen to have one, although if you get a flat tyre, it can be a bonus if you know how it works. And I think that's a really great example of a piece of technology that clearly came without preparation for the consumer, or as an analogy for our learners. Thanks. So I hate to be the sceptic here, and I know I have a panel of experts behind me, and we've lost the presentation, so it's collapsed. I've collapsed the world. But when I went back to... I'm going to keep talking because somehow it's going to miraculously appear. And I love it when technology fails in a virtual learning workshop. I went back to revisited the overview and rationale of the National VET e-learning strategy 2012-2015. Does anyone know about it? I forgot about it. Which had the primary objective of developing the Australian training system's capacity to capitalise on the rollout of NBN. And I had to go back and revisit that to remind me what policy was driving in the vet space, and that's an old policy. In summary, we've lost it, have we? Oh, what a shame. It was the best slide too. In summary, it stated, the new technological environment will provide unprecedented opportunities to extend to the reach, effectiveness and customised nature of training and significantly impact achievement of government objectives for more inclusive, better qualified workforce. Goodness me, that sounded good at the time. The strategy seeks to build the capability of RTOs, industry and community stakeholders to create more accessible training options and facilitate new ways of learning through technology while stimulating new ventures in e-learning to support individual participation, rah, 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 rah. So, question, I think I'm up to number 3. 5 years on, did we, I think it was 5, I can't count, 5 years on, did we achieve this objective? And that was a big strategy, that 2012 to 2015 strategy. And I started to worry about now, because I'm putting it out there that in my organisation, I think we've gone backwards, to be honest. And I think that the funding and our capacity to build our teacher workforce around the technology hasn't been there. We haven't supported it, and so therefore it's not happening. The resourcing isn't there, and so if we're not investing in our workforce and our teachers to enable them to enable their learners in this space, then we're not going to be able to adopt that technology. We do have champions sitting in our environment, but we haven't got enough of those champions, so we've got to get broader traction there, and hopefully I'll hear from these ladies how I'm going to do that when I go back to work. So this is what I think we need to do, and you could have seen more in the best slide, which was the last slide, but anyway, I'll sell it to you later. I think we need to do the following things. Have I got time? Yep. I think it's all around planning for me, and I'm a bit old-fashioned perhaps, but effective planning, I think it will help things to stick better. So develop effective digital plans. Is that a terminology that you're familiar with? Sounds good? They believe me, then I know it's good. Digital transformation initiatives aligned to individual business needs. So each of our RTOs may have a different niche or market or learner, geographical location and operation, but most importantly, the educational purpose and benefit. So fit for purpose, I think, is really critical. We don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Support all stakeholders, so managers. So from top down, bottom up, we need to embed and lead digital transformation through effective management and training of our teachers and our workforce. Optimise funds and resources to strengthen digital engagement and the capability of our teacher workforce, and development of programs around that. So we, in the past we've had some really good funding opportunities. That's been stripped, so we're trying to find innovative ways, and often then the technology doesn't work. What a great example today when it fails us. Optimise funds, resources to strengthen digital engagement and capability, building of our teacher workforce and development of programs. I think I just said that one. But really, unless we get those people, our teachers, to adopt it, then we can't implement it. It's just going to fall over. Quantify qualified data to measure performance outcomes and digital strategies, which would include clear student retention data, because I think that's where the engagement part can really work, and learner outcomes so we can see the real impact of the digital change, the benefit to the learners, employer and industry, because I think if we can show that evidence and show that proof, then we can get leverage from that. I think that's the 3 minutes, and that's fantastic because I've got 3 lines left. It's about the right tool for the job. It may only be valuable if the knowledge gained underpins the skills for the job task with the real-life contingencies that surround that task. And I don't know if that really makes sense, but it sounded good when I wrote it. So that's my take on it. Thinking about that planning, the professional development and investment in the teacher workforce to adopt the technologies, adopt some of those innovative practices, then I think we can start to see some shift. Thank you.